En Passant. So as you remember, the pawn has the option at the very beginning of the game of moving 1 or 2 squares. This rule was added roughly in the 1400s, and it was meant to make the game move slightly more quickly, getting your men off the line and getting action started. However, there's a slight oversight in letting the pawn move 2 squares, and that will be illustrated here. We've got white moving 2 squares. Black responds in the same fashion, and as they move closer, taking their turns toward each other, you'll note that white ends up in a bit of a predicament. As he reaches the 5th rank, or 5th row if you're counting from the bottom, and if black takes his option of advancing 2 squares, it is as though white has missed his opportunity to capture black. And this is where en passant becomes important. You capture as though the opposing pawn has moved only 1 square, and so in this case, white would capture black like this. Naturally, black would be inclined to capture the pawn, but similarly, let's watch en passant again as black approaches white. Now, if white were to take their option of advancing 2 squares, black would capture en passant like so. Now it's important to note that if you want to capture en passant, you have 1 chance to do it, and it's at that moment where the opposing pawn has approached you. You must take the next turn to capture en passant. In other words, you cannot let that opportunity sit, you must make the move right away. Let's watch en passant in some more unusual situations. Here you'll note that black's pawn is in his original square, and so en passant seems a possibility. However, as black makes his move, white realizes that if he captures en passant, he'll be putting his king in check from the black bishop, and so it is not possible. It would be an illegal move. And here's a situation where capturing en passant is the only option. Here we'll notice that black's pawn again is in the original square. As he takes his option of moving 2 squares, black's pawn has put white's king in check, and so white has no choice but to capture en passant and thus get his king out of check. Now let's move on to drawn games, an unfortunate situation that happens all too often if you don't play your cards right. Let's get at it.